Hello, hello, hello. And as I'm talking to you right now, I am on the verge of just kind of doing this and like nodding off. But you are reviving my spirit because this past week has been easily, without a close second, the most difficult but yet also rewarding week in the show's history and probably in my entire career. I have been out in the fields of Texas in 90 plus degree heat for it's been just under 2 weeks filming all the scenes surrounding the feeding of the 5,000 and the feeding of the 5,000. So later in this live stream, I'm going to share with you, not a big spoiler, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the feeding of the 5,000 scene from season 3. It's not as simple as Jesus shows up, 5,000 people are there or more, and he does a big miracle and it's fun. As you know, in typical Chosen style, there's lots of things that lead up to that, lots of things surrounding it, lots of things that are happening during it. And I'm going to tell you about some of those things so you can get even more excited about the scene. But we're going to talk throughout this live stream about the feeding of the 5,000 experience. We had over 10,000 people descend on our set over the course of 3 days filming this. It's going to be extraordinary. I'm going to show you some highlights of that. We've also got some season 3 highlights. I'm going to show you a really cool video that gives you behind the scenes and some glimpses of a few things. It's just like a highlight reel of what we've been doing so far. And then I've also got a bunch of brand new gift items that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. We've got some cast here. I'm not going to give you their names just now because I want to make some of it a surprise. But the first one that I'm going to bring out in just a few minutes, it rhymes with Bowie, his first name, and it's actually Joey. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. But Joey Vahiti, who plays Thomas, is here. We got a couple others in the room who are going to be joining you in just a few minutes. And real quick, before I bring out my very special guest, who's my wife, because I want to tell you something cool about my wife and me, and then also kind of get her thoughts on a few things, is the Chosen app. All right, I want to make sure that you are updated on how to watch the show because sometimes there are new people here who are wondering, what is this? Or they're struggling with how to watch the show or whatever it is. So as you may already know, the show is on a free app. So you can go to wherever you get your apps on your phone. You look up The Chosen. We're very easy to find. You download it. You can be watching within moments, totally free. However, we are now also easy to find on Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick. You just literally go to those streaming platforms, you look up The Chosen or Angel Studios. You will find the Angel Studios app and you can be watching right there. You don't even need to use your phone. And again, it's totally free. You don't even have to enter your email address. We don't require anything of you to watch this. So please make sure that you are checking that out. Seasons 1 and 2 are now completely and totally free with no requirements to watch them. And if you're watching on YouTube, the comment section is going crazy right now. And if you don't mind, just real quick, just like say where your name and where you're from, because all the commenting gets the algorithm going and YouTube starts thinking, people are wanting to watch this. Let's spread it to more people. We have had so many new viewers come because the live streams popped up on their feed as something they might be interested in. So just comment, say whatever you want, write in the number 1 if you want, just something to kind of trigger that. Same thing on Facebook. And then if you're watching in the Chosen app where we've got a live chat going as well, please do that. And you can enter your questions there. We've got people there who are going to be answering them. And right now, I can even see people who are purchasing things at thechosengifts.com or people who are paying it forward. I can see some of your names. I can see some of your questions. For example, Randy Hansen, just randomly right now, will you have other large gatherings in the future similar to the feeding of the 5,000? It's too early to answer that question right now. If I had to answer right now, I'd lean towards no. Not because I don't love meeting you and love meeting those who come out, but it's just such a monumental task. And if I do it again, it's not going to be in 100-degree heat. I can promise you that. All right, Amanda, come on in. This is why a couple things that I want to share with you. Hello. So right up to the mic, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
Why is tomorrow special?
Oh, it's our anniversary.
Yes.
But also you're shooting, so let's not talk about it.
Yeah, it's a little painful. I'm filming, but that's not the special thing. Tomorrow, our anniversary is a special thing, and it is going to be 24 years of marriage. 1 year left until our 25th. But yeah, tomorrow, June 13th, our anniversary. Right. Thank you. Yeah. Most of them happy years, wouldn't you say? No, I'm just kidding. Yes. All right, so let's talk about, first of all, show them what you're wearing.
Okay, I'll rise.
She is wearing a new Chosen tank top.
Yes, and I wore it in the 100-degree heat, and it was great.
Yeah, it was
Like,
comfortable.
it was legit.
It felt good.
Yeah.
Women for.
I can't help but notice you are not wearing your tank top.
I'm going to be wearing mine after the first video that we show because I didn't want to start off wearing it and showing my like
Yes, I was
farmer's
gonna say,
tan.
That's why he's got this like hardcore line. It's a bummer.
So I will wear it for a little bit, but I didn't want to pop it, just right when the live stream started, be wearing a tank top. It feels a little obnoxious. So we have in thechosengifts.com. You want to sing the jingle?
Nope.
No, she does not. I knew it. www.thechosengifts.com is where you can get new tank top, men's and women, and there are two types of women's tank tops, one of which Yasmmin is wearing.
Yeah.
She plays Rayma, and spoiler alert, she's going to be coming up in a little bit to talk about season 3 and talk about updates and all that stuff as well. There are two types, because one thing that I learned in the women's tank top world over the last 2 weeks is that there are dozens and dozens of different women's tank tops, and none of them are universally beloved.
No pleasing everybody is what he's trying to say. It's not going to happen, so you can keep your complaints to yourself.
Hey, be nice. Yes, because
it was impossible with me, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I didn't like a dozen things, and
and I was like, but this is the top selling one on Amazon, and you're like, but it doesn't work for me.
It's not mine. Yeah,
right. So women's tank tops come in all shapes and sizes, and so we've got it down to 2. They're both this look, in terms of against the current, but they've also there's 2 different styles. One is styles. One is a little bit more cropped. Yeah. Not the one that you're wearing.
Not the one. Okay, I'll do it one more time.
Yeah. But this is a little bit looser. Oh, nice.
Okay, that's it.
A little looser, a little bit more can apply to more.
A little bit more like I'm 45. A little bit more. Yeah. Cute cropped. Yaz will show you the cute young cropped.
I've got the big gift coming in just a moment. We got the biggest one coming in just a moment. Be ready for that. This is one. These are these bucket hats. I'm going to put this on so quickly because I don't look good in bucket hats because I have a bigger head. But this is, see?
Oh,
Yes, immediately starts laughing. Yeah. And I'm not even going to put the teal one on because I look like...
That's better.
I look like Gilligan. You look really cute in it.
Oh.
Yeah, except you got it on sideways. But anyway, you got these bucket hats. They say,
I can't.
Don't
I look
hide
like I'm 5.
Yeah, but don't hide your
face. There
don't hide your eyes.
I'm
there
trying.
You go. Yeah, that's
I don't
really
know.
cute.
We didn't practice this part.
Yeah, so say the Chosen on them. Really popular item at the Feeding of the 5,000 because they were so cool. Meaning, I put mine on. I put the teal one on, even though I looked like a little child.
But you were so hot, and it legitimately helps you.
I honestly thought for a second you were saying that attractiveness.
Oh, I was not saying that.
Like,
it's just not your thing.
Yeah.
But it's so cute on other people.
Yes, and I was so sweltering hot that I put it on, and it made a huge difference. So then, and this is the 3rd of 4. And by the way, Christopher S. in New York just bought the special edition DVDs, which I'm going to bring out in just a second. I just spoiled it. Yvonne just bought the comics. All of the first 6 comics are now out. Mary M. just paid it forward $50. Thank you, Mary M. And Hannah A. just paid it forward $15. Thank you. I will talk about later why we need that so much. So this is the first comic, but there are 6 of them now. So the first 2 have been out for a few months now. So this is 1, this is 2, and now the next 4 are all out at once. If you buy all 6, you get 24% off. Every time I do these little discounts, I sound like a TV ad salesman.
I know, but actually, they are all each independently awesome.
Yeah.
The art is incredible.
Yeah, so all 6
Can I help you a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. All 6 of these, if you buy them all together, you get 20% off. But these take you through season 1. And
or Andrew.
Yeah, and really cool.
Incredible.
And so this is especially for those who especially if you have a kid or a nerd like our son who's like a comic book nerd.
We had a comic book nerd, and we're proud of it. And
great way to get it in. All right, this is the biggest thing. We've got the special edition Blu-rays and the special edition DVDs from season 2. This is honestly one of my top 3 or 4 favorite gift items we ever do. The season 1 special edition has already been out for a while, and people absolutely loved it. The Vanna White, yeah. So 6 discs are in this. And Yaz?
Yes, you're there.
Do you see yourself right here?
Ah, that's so cool.
And
everybody.
Let's see if Joey or Giovanni. No, Joey or Giovanni.
Next time.
Next year.
Yeah, were you on season 1?
I was not. No.
Okay, you're in season
Okay.
2.
No, I
Season
wasn't
3.
in season 1.
Yeah, I think you were in season 1.
I'm so fine.
No, I'm saying in the on one of the discs.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, I don't remember. But tons of special features on this. Like, we loaded it up because we really, really wanted this to be a special item for you that gives you the Chosen on steroids. There are tons of things in here that we have not put out on social media yet. We've got the Bible commentaries. So after every single episode, our 3 Bible historians and experts and consultants did roundtable discussions on the episode, talking about what we got right, what we got wrong, what's debatable, what we go deeper into the stories, deeper into the Gospels. It's really, really amazing. People have been asking about those. Those are in all the special edition. All 8 of those are there. Director's commentary that I did, which is,
I think I did one thing.
Yeah, you and I did.
Yeah, I did a
commentary.
episode 1 maybe.
Yeah. And we've got the making of the of season 2 documentary that we did. That's really cool. But the big thing that I know you're probably most excited about is the Christmas episode, the special Christmas episode, the what we would call the special episode that's outside of even season 2 that we did last year is on the special edition DVD. This is the only place that you can get it. Yes, it's called The Messengers. But that special episode, and no, the music videos that we did for that are not on there. Are the monologues on there? Jeremiah, do you remember?
On Blu-ray, yes. I'm not sure about DVD.
Okay, so the monologues are on the Blu-ray. Not sure about the DVD, but the episode, the Christmas special episode, The Messengers, is on the special edition DVD. Of course, all 8 episodes in the highest quality possible. So the special edition season 2 is here. And here's the cool thing. If you buy the special edition season 2, you can get the special edition season 1 for 50% off.
They're actually not on the Blu-ray. They didn't.
Okay, they're not on the monologues are not on the Blu-ray. Okay, ran out of space. So if you buy the special edition season 2, you get the special edition season 1 for 50% off. So it is really cool. Darlene S. in Texas just bought one. Looks like Diane W. just bought one. Marnie S. just bought a bucket hat and a shirt.
I have to say, your ADD serves you well doing all of this. You guys should see he's got not only the chat going in front of
P just paid it forward $100, and Anonymous just paid it forward $500. So
amazing.
That's really, really cool. So Terry Mobley asks, for Amanda. Terry Mobley asks, for Amanda, how can we pray for you and your family, the crew, and the cast?
Oh, rest for sure. This has been the most tiring, I would say. I can't even really say why, except 1,000 reasons. But it's just exhausting, and everyone's exhausted and needing rest on this. We're going on a little break, so just rest. And
wow, Lori B just paid it forward $1,000. Wow,
awesome.
That just means well over 1,000 people are going to be able to watch it for free. And Joey's going to get be able to eat next week because we give Joey $1 for every $1,000 that comes in.
Sounds like I'm getting some ribeye.
So that's not actually true. So it has been exhausting.
Yeah, just rest, recovery, so that we can do this again and not very long. Right? We don't have. It's not super long.
Yeah, we get about a 3-week rest after tomorrow. We have another day tomorrow shooting in the literally 104-degree heat, and so hopefully we make it through that. Because I actually had a moment last week where I almost.
You never have moments, and he even had a moment.
I had a moment where I was struggling, where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna I had to kind of breathe and sit down, and I was not doing great. So hopefully we get through tomorrow, and then we get 3 weeks off. So we could use some help. Hugh M. in Texas just paid it forward $300. So that's pretty awesome. Real quick, before I let you go, share just your you were sharing with me the other day that when we had the feeding of the 5,000 people, so we had this big event space where there were musicians performing and entertainment going, and that's where they were waiting to then be sent over to film the actual feeding of the 5,000.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're seeing lots of fans from Brazil in the live stream. Brazil is exploding with The Chosen, and in fact, there have been a few days where there have been more people watching in Brazil than in the United States on the app. So that's pretty amazing because it's now translated into Portuguese, and the app itself is translated into Portuguese in Brazil. It's really cool. So you said that during one of those days that you actually said I cried 5 different times. And what was it that kind of just, I think you can share with who's watching now, just especially those who weren't there, because I know there's more of you who weren't there than who were there, and sometimes you might have felt like you were missing out on something. And we want to, you were thinking about them too.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a visual representation of you guys. So the first day you get, I was really in a mode of being worried. It was hot. There were lots of logistics. Our people had been working so hard. You know, you're kind of in work mode. But by the second day, to see the same number of people there and to see their joy to be there in spite of the heat. I mean, it was just so moving. It was really kind of the visual representation of what we don't always get to see. We don't always get to see you guys. And so to see the people out there, to see, Alex was there, who is the guy who really started us down this whole path.
Yeah, the man who reached out to me out of the blue because God prompted him to say to me, "It's not your job to feed the 5,000. It's only to provide the loaves and fish." I met him for the first time
in
at the
person,
event.
in the flesh. We saw him, so that was super emotional.
Yeah.
It was just a culmination. I think by the second day, our team worked so hard and did so well. So by the second day, I could almost relax enough to really be present in it. Big Daddy Weave led worship, and so to see people not just there, but in mass worshiping at high noon, and then Dan
and Matt, our composers,
we
performed,
go way back with
performed the song "Trouble."
I mean, it was really cool, and so I'm glad that you guys are going to get to see the behind the scenes, and I know you've seen some of it already, but yeah, we love the people who love The Chosen. We love the people who've come together to help us make The Chosen, and so it was beautiful. So I cried.
Yep.
Quite a bit.
Yes, and to you who, if you weren't there. I know that your prayers and your support and your buying the gifts, paying it forward, just spreading the word, all of that stuff is a huge reason we're even able to pull things like this off. And so we are a community and a family, and we're keeping the show going and making sure that we can keep it free for everybody around the world, so that which sometimes makes it difficult, but also makes it especially rewarding. But I want you to know that we really just appreciate you so deeply. So I'll let you go. I know you wanted to share a few things. I'm going to bring out Joey Vahiti in just a moment. But before I do, and then when I come back from this video I'm about to show you, I'm going to be wearing the Chosen tank top. So beware if you have an aversion to bright things. My skin that's up here, it might be reflecting into your eyeballs and blinding you. Because I might look a deep, dark, rich tan right now. But under the surface of my short sleeves is... it's. I just want to give you that fair warning of blinding light if you have an aversion to that. But I want to show you this brief trailer for the special edition DVD. We put this together just recently, and it's really, really cool. Just give you an idea of season 2 and of the special edition DVD. All of the things that are on it that can explain it so much better than I did. Here we go.
Matthew, the time has come. I'm here to start a revolution.
I hate what I do.
People have been through tough times. People both hesitant and skeptical, as well as bold and confident. People hungry to learn, as well as those learned and knowledgeable.
Sir, I'm having a really bad day.
Do you want to be healed?
I've tried.
For a long time, I know. I promise you, I know. When you were in your lowest moment and you were alone, I did not turn my face from you. I saw you. You only need me. Come and see.
Blasphemer! Get out!
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you.
The episode is based on Matthew 4:24. And so we thought, when Jesus is doing something significant like this, what's happening backstage?
The problem of evil is the biggest complaint against Christianity. I mean, Jesus says something about it.
You're right. The deepest answer is on the cross itself.
This whole show is a gift
to so many people,
humanity.
but to me too.
I'm sure that you've been changed.
It really is a dream.
Yeah.
You can't take one day of that for granted. It's so rare that you touch many people, let alone a few.
It's about God. It's about how he impacted the world.
Jesus chose these specific archetypes for their specific flaws to be shown so that they can be worked out.
That's how Jesus saw things. You have a role to play.
I am telling the story of a first-century woman with a psychologically complicated history.
I'm just so relieved and grateful.
You filthy dogs!
What we're doing here will last for generations. I need you to help show the way. Things are only going to get more difficult. But what makes this sermon so important is each person who will be there. I want my people to participate in the healing of the world.
Out of him!
It's why I'm here. The light will overcome darkness.
Yeah!
Everyone has wandered through the wilderness at some point. Believe my words. I forgive you.
All right, I warned you.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I think the camera, besides adding 10 pounds, takes off some of the melanin. I'm not.
No, I was just saying he looks like Mandy, the makeup artist, put a bunch of makeup on his arm.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like this is real. This is just lighting. There's nothing.
All right, but now you have to stand up and show the tank.
Okay, sorry. So the tank actually is cool and is really comfortable. And I just wish that we had a better model for it that didn't have such a nasty, farmer's tan, because it's not the most appealing thing. But I just thought, you need to see it. This is the men's tank top, obviously, not the women's.
If you buy this tank top, this will not happen to you. You'll get an actual tan.
Yes,
that will not look like
this prevents this.
Yeah.
So I should have gotten this earlier and worn it on the set. But Joey Vahiti, who plays Thomas, so glad that you're here.
Thanks for having me.
You have been so wonderful on the show. I remember when you joined the cast in episode 5 of season 1, which was the second half of that season. First of all, real quick, read this off, Joey. Who's that?
We got Lee. Paid it forward $500. Thank you so much for that.
Ruth S. from Florida paid it forward $25, which is awesome. Jennifer M. just bought the comic books. Thank you, Jennifer.
I have the comic books myself too. I'm a comic guy.
You are a comic nerd.
I'm a nerd guy. So
cool.
Good purchase.
Yes. And someone just bought the special edition. Anonymous bought the special edition. So thanks for that. Okay. So first thing is into season 3.
Yeah.
You came into season 1 back in 2019, was it?
I think 2019. Yeah.
Yeah.
August
so
of 2019. Yeah.
You were just a young little sprite.
I was so innocent.
Yes. Yes. Talk about the difference between then and now. Like for you as an actor, but also just as an observer of how the show has grown, how the fans have responded to you.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Like, what are your thoughts on just over the last couple of years?
I mean, it's definitely been a huge transition. I mean, you could even see it, I think, in the quality of the actual footage. It looks completely different from season 1 to season 2, in my opinion, in terms of just...
the sets,
the sets and the costumes, beautiful camera, and of course all the acting and writing and stuff. But I love that from season 1 to season 2, it's delving more specifically into people's relationships and how they are with one another. We do get a lot of that in season 1, and season 1 and season 2 are, to me, kind of like moments where there are origin stories. You know what I mean? In the same way how Marvel does it or something like that. Whereas season 3 is going to be...
Yeah, when you read season 3, I remember you told me that when you first were reading it, you were like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Everything's just kind of escalating. The group has been assembled. All 12 disciples are here, plus the additional disciples of Mary Magdalene, Rama, and Tamar. Because as you know, in the Bible, there were the 12 apostles who were kind of the official team, but then there were many more disciples who were following Jesus, including many women. And so there's now this group of like 15, 16 always around followers. Now it's time to see what happens.
Right. Yeah. And something I've discussed with a lot of fans during the feeding of the 5,000, when we'd have breaks in between takes and stuff like that, is with such a large group, you get to see the dynamics that really come out of how human they are in terms of their jealousy or their anger or their love or their hope. You know what I mean? Just it makes it to where you can relate to these people not just as, you know, these are untouchable saints, but you feel like you know who they are as people, and you can identify with that as well and their struggles. Yeah,
so many people were saying, like I would hear it. Like we had thousands of people in the crowd. We'd put you out there to start handing out loaves and fish, and I'd hear people saying like, "Joey, I love your performance so much," or "I love Thomas so much." And
I paid a lot of those people. That's very sweet of them.
Yes. So a couple questions came in. Avery Fans 1978 for Joey. Joey, you're amazing as Thomas. What has been your favorite scene so far?
Avery, very kind of you. Thank you so much. My favorite scene so far, I'd probably say it was the honestly the one shot that we did in season 2. That
Episode
was
3.
Yeah, because it was such a long scene. It felt like almost like a choreographed dance in a way, you know, and your adrenaline is rushing, and you don't want to be the guy to mess up the take or anything like that. But to me, that was my favorite because you got little snippets of each person and what their responsibilities are and how they are with each other too.
Yeah. That was for sure
It's fun,
a big memory.
Artistically a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Christy Mack, Joey, if you had one guess, how do you think the relationship between Thomas and Rayma will end? Some of that you know, some of that you don't.
Correct.
So we can't share some of that.
I think it's safe to say we can.
Yeah, but we can share like this season, things progress. Correct? You can say that.
Sure.
Yes. Things progress. Starting in episode 1, we see Thomas and Rayma starting to stop hiding what the growing feelings that are taking place. Good.
I like surprises personally, so
yeah.
I think y'all should wait to watch it, but yes, to everything.
Things progress. Kendall asks, and this will be our last question for you, Joey. Joey, if you weren't Thomas, which character would you like to be? It's interesting because you auditioned for Simon.
Right, and I remember, I think I was just too buff to play him, so you guys had to go with Shahar. So
well played.
But Shahar does a great job, amazing job. But who would I want to play?
Yeah, what's another character that you think that would be fun to dig into?
That's a tough question. I think Judas would be a fun character to play just because of the reputation he has. Luke portrays him so beautifully. I think Simon Z would be a fun one too, just to be able to do all the cool things that Allah's so great at doing.
But can you do any of those things that Allah
Zero.
can do? Yeah, I was
Zero.
gonna say. So
Zero.
Like we cast.
But if I could, that's what I would want to do. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But
yeah,
it's tough. Honestly, with all the knowledge that I have now, I don't think I would want to play anybody else.
Yeah.
I think Thomas is the one that I am meant for. So
yeah, I agree with that. You were brought to us for sure, and I remember you auditioned for Simon. And did you audition for Thomas?
It's funny because I think
you did actually.
Yeah, it was like 9 months later.
Yes.
Getting an email saying like, "Hey, they want you to come in for Thomas." I was like, I think this is a mistake. I didn't audition for this, and I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it was like a callback situation, and that's when I met you and Beverly, and
Yep.
The rest is history, I guess.
Yes. All right. Joe Vahiti. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Yep. And we're about to take 3 weeks off, but I will see you shortly after that.
I'll see you shortly.
Yes. All right, now this is like a Zoom ending where you're like, all right, bye-bye. And then you click the end button, but then it asks you forward $500. Is that funny to you too? Yeah, I mean, Sherry H paid it forward $500. Oh my gosh, when you guys pay it forward, it's what allows us to keep the show free. It's what allows us to keep doing future episodes and seasons. All right, so we are going to go into season 3 highlights. Okay, so the app is back. So sorry about that. We just apparently had a disconnection. But what I want to do is I want to show you the season 3 kind of update of what we've been doing. We've been capturing loads and loads of footage while we've been filming. And we put together kind of a highlight reel of all of the footage, of all of the shooting that we've been doing and all of the behind the scenes stuff we've been doing over the last 6 weeks or so. And we want to show that to you. So here you go. And when I come back, I will have Yasmmin, who plays Rayma, and we'll also give you a few more updates. And don't go away, even though we've been having a couple glitches. Stay for the whole thing, because at the end of the live stream, I've got some big season 3 updates. I'm going to give you a little bit more context of some of the storylines that we've been doing, and just kind of an update on where we're at for the whole year, and also tell you a little bit more about our release schedule of season 3. So please stick around, but here is a highlight of what we've been doing so far. All right, so to give you a quick update, we did have apparently a server error, and so it sounds like on Facebook it's down, but we are up on YouTube and the app, and please hang with us. Thank you if you did. I appreciate that. All right, well, we've already got a comment for you from Callie, who said, "We love you, Yaz."
That's so. Thank you, Callie. Oh, I wish I could meet her.
Yeah. Well, you kind of are in a sense. You're talking to her. Look what you're wearing.
Oh. Look at this.
The Chosen Tank. So
Yeah.
I think we had enough. I think that might have been what shut the live stream down too. Was
Your body?
Yeah, my white arms kind of fried the servers apparently. So I'm back to wearing a normal shirt, and we thought you could wear the Chosen Tank, which looks really cool. Yeah. Yasmmin had also joined us around the same, literally the same time that Joey did. We were introduced to Thomas and Rayma in episode 5 of season 1. And I'll never forget how you were introduced, literally as an actress, because we got your time wrong on the call sheet.
Yeah.
And I showed up on set and I was like, why do you have Yasmmin coming in the afternoon when she's got a scene in the morning? And our assistant director, like his face went white, realized we needed you here immediately, tried calling, but of course, the cell phones now that like you were still sleeping because it was the morning. Mm-hmm. And so eventually you literally finally got the message, raced straight to set, ran on set. I met you for the first time right there. You got your costume on and like immediately went to set, and it was like rehearsing, let's go.
Right away. I thought that was y'all's way of cutting me out of the scene, and I accepted it.
Yeah, no, but you should. But we tried, but you showed up. And immediately nailed it, and immediately became the Thomas Rayma relationship became kind of a cool thing. Do they call it Ramus? The Thomas Rayma relationship. Yeah, Ramus. But yeah, I want to ask you the same question that I asked Joey. Is just from season 1 to this season, watching the growth of the show, watching your character develop. Like, what's it been like? Just kind of seeing things like go crazy over the last. Like when you first came on, we were just this small little thing and shooting on that set in Texas, and now it's kind of growing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And now we're building the set, which is remarkable.
Yeah.
I think overall, it's watching how the characters develop. So, and how they develop, each one going through their individual dilemmas or growth, but then also combining that with the other characters as well. So I love seeing the interactions and how, with the actors, the amazing actors that we have, how all of that just comes together. So I think that's the character growth.
Well, yeah, which is interesting because when you see the growth of the fan base, it's really cool. But when we're on set, nothing has changed. We still have to focus on just telling the story best.
Yeah.
And by the way, Linda G just paid it forward $1,000 from Texas. Thank you, Linda G. That means a lot. It's when we're filming, everything else kind of gets shut out. And we're like, we still just have to make this as good as we possibly can. And so the growth of the characters and the relationships, I think for us has been one of the most impactful things. But because we don't, like, especially you're not on social media much, right? So like,
I have all of it, but I don't really
go
in it.
Yeah. So, it's been a fun thing to kind of just really dig into these characters and see not just their introduction, but actually now, what does it look like for you to grow as a character? Someone just asked, Sarai asks, Yasmmin, did you audition for any other character?
Eden.
Yes, that's right.
Who is amazingly played by Lada, and I'm so excited. I told her this. I cannot wait to see her performance this season. I'm so,
Yeah. Eden's got a lot to do this season. Angelica asks, what should we look forward to for Rayma this season? We just, and I just lost the monitor, Jeremiah, by the way. I think it just needs to be refreshed. There we go. So, similar to what we talked about with Joey, which is Thomas and Rayma grow. But you've also got some scenes with
the lasses.
Yeah, so Mary Magdalene and Amber, she plays Tamar, and Rayma now are, Rayma and Tamar don't really have a place to live because they're away from their homes, and now are following Jesus and go back to Capernaum. And we have a scene just right up in episode 1, and we have a couple scenes where you guys now are kind of packed into Mary Magdalene's little space.
Yeah, it's cozy.
And you start to see little arguments developing and just little
conversations.
Yeah, we'll call them conversations.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure each other out in a small space. It's like it's a roommate situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we develop some of that. How hard is it to drop the accent after filming?
Not really hard.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, it comes pretty easily for me. Hopefully, well.
Yes.
Sometimes, I just try my best.
Yes. Thanks for that. this illuminating backstory on your process. This is how we get these performances. You just try our best and just see what happens. You know, they're going to put that clip and put that in classrooms all over the country.
Just try your best.
Just try your best, and then the accent will happen. Final question before I let you go here. Cam Nielsen asks, how do you identify with your character, and how are you different from your character?
Ooh, I find more similarities with Rayma in how spontaneous she is, how she pushes others to also be spontaneous and just go for it. So I relate very heavily with that. And then also, whenever she finds something that she really enjoys doing, or she gets passionate about something, she really wants to get good at it, and she puts her all into it. So definitely that.
What about that scene last year, real quick,
Yeah.
where you were talking to Mother Mary about just like how you were just like really ticked off because you're like, why isn't Jesus going after Mary Magdalene? We don't know where she is.
Yes.
He could fix this. Why isn't he?
Yep.
Do you identify with that a little bit?
I do.
Are you pretty like,
I
we have to
do.
solve this problem and I don't like how others are solving it?
You know what? I don't know to that extent, because sometimes I'd like to think that I understand where everyone is coming from. I try my best. I try my best. I'm not good at it all the time. So probably not to that extent, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to cause any more, especially in that kind of a situation. I would like to try and minimize the drama and the conflict as much as I possibly can and create calmness.
Yes. Now, is that where you'd say you are different from the character?
Probably.
Where she's a little bit more...
Yeah, aggressive and just like,
yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. So you and on set, when you come on, you tend to be, no matter how difficult the circumstances are, whether it's weather or time, like you tend to have kind of a, we're here, we're doing this, we're lucky to be here, let's have fun with it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
try to remind myself all the time. I love
Yeah.
weather, I love time, I love all those things that happen on the set.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
I would say,
She likes weather and time.
Dallas, Yaz, and Rayma are both very brave. I would say that's an easy one.
Yeah, if you didn't hear that, that's my wife Amanda saying Yaz and Rayma are both very brave. And that is true.
Wow.
Very true.
I try
That is
really
true.
hard. That's thanks.
And they both do their best.
I'm just trying.
Yes.
I'm just trying.
All right. Well, thank you. I so love working with you. And the scenes that we did, we kind of packed them into one day. The scene with you and Amber and Liz, where we were doing in that one room of just, and it was packed into this little room.
That
But
was
it
another
so-
kind of hot.
Yeah.
I know, like we were out in the heat. All of y'all were out in the heat for like the last 2 weeks. But man, that was like a whole different, because it was cozy and there were like, how many of us in there?
Yeah,
Almost
well,
like
yeah.
50.
Yeah, well, yeah, all in one little room because of the
Mm-hmm.
crew. But then you three are doing it. It was that was tough. But you guys were so great. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see you see Rayma grow in season 3 and have these little moments with the other women, because so far all the arguments have been with the guys.
Yeah.
And now we get to see that like the women aren't just like sweet little angels all just kind of hanging out all the time. That you guys have your own little layers
We're
too.
all trying.
Their best. Well, thanks for that, Yasmin. No, awesome.
Thank you, Dallas.
Thank you. No, you're. I love working with you. And
Yeah, me too.
you're so happy I'm wearing this and not the tanks. Yeah. All right. Now you may go.
Uh-huh.
Love you.
Love you too.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay, so we're going to bring out Giovanni in just a few moments, but one of the things that I wanted to give you when we're talking about season 3, one of the really cool things about season 3 so far has been how we had this moment that we're calling kind of the miracle of the weather. So I don't know if you remember last year we had what we called the miracle of the fog, which is where fog rolled in and we couldn't shoot. And I'm not going to tell the whole story again. You can see it on the special edition DVD, ironically enough, where we tell the whole story of that. But this year, we had to come back to season 3. The beginning of season 3 picks up where season 2 left off, and season 2 leaves off, as you remember. Oh my goodness, we just got, well, from a woman named Kara. I'm not going to give her last name, but supposedly she just paid it forward $5,000. Yeah. And Kara, I won't give her full name, but is one of our biggest fans and supporters, and does so many more things than just pay it forward. So thank you for that, Kara. And you might have wanted to do that anonymously, which is why I'm not giving your last name. And then Gina just bought a bunch of gifts in the gift store. So that's really cool. Just to recap very quickly, we've got the special edition DVDs and Blu-rays that have just come out. They're launching today. And this is just like, just got a pant load of stuff in it that there are discs of that total the number of 6. That are there that just loaded with special features. We've got the new tank tops, we've got the new bucket hats, and the comics. All 6 of the first 6 comics are out now. But so season 2 leaves off with Jesus about to deliver the Sermon on the Mount. And if you remember, when we were filming the Sermon on the Mount, it was overcast and foggy, and it was wet. It was super cold. And so when we came back for season 3, we didn't know when we were filming at first. We were hoping we were going to be filming in the fall and that we could recreate that a little bit better. But this year, because of some of the delays, we couldn't film until the summer. And so we had like bright blue skies with immense heat for several weeks. And we're going, so how are we going to film Jesus actually preaching the sermon and some of these other scenes when we know that where the season left off and where the scene left off previously was so overcast? How do we make this look like it's not a completely different time period? And we were thinking about special effects, which was nearly impossible. We were thinking about shooting it all in close-ups, just trying to figure out how to do this. And literally the 2 days of filming for the Sermon on the Mount in season 3 showed up totally overcast and that fog mist that you saw at the end of season 2. When those 2 days were up, the skies cleared again, went back to the heat and the sunlight and the blue skies for the whole rest of the season. And we've experienced that since then. 2 days, overcast, foggy, happened to be the days that we scheduled the follow-up to the Sermon on the Mount. Pretty extraordinary story that just seems to keep happening with this project. And it's been really cool to watch. So very quickly, right before I bring out Giovanni, who plays Thaddeus, and then after that, I'm going to be talking about season 3 updates, including part of our release. I'm going to give you some of our release schedule. I'm going to talk about some of the context of some of the scenes that you've been getting hints of, but we're going to give you even more information. Danielle just paid it forward $300. Thank you so much. That's well over 300 people now who can watch the show for free. Anonymous just bought the entire set of 6 comics. That is so cool. Thank you for that. And Jenny S. just bought a Chosen shirt. So this is really cool that I see this kind of coming up. Robert B. just bought a special edition DVD set. That's awesome. So the feeding of the 5,000. Colin, you can go ahead and start bringing up some of the footage from this event. Tuesday and Wednesday, we had over 4,000 people per day show up on our the property, the Salvation Army campsite, where we film and where we are building some of our sets. And as you can see, we had musicians. We had Big Daddy Weave. We had Micah Tyler. We had the Bonner family performing. My wife Amanda and I shared some thoughts. We had the cast come out on stage and greet everybody. But we had thousands of people who, over at what we called the event space, were mingling and sharing with each other and connecting. And it was like a big Chosen family reunion. It was unbelievable. And then we would bring them over to the field where we were filming the feeding of the 5,000. And we had speakers set up so they could hear us talk. That's how big the field was and how many people were there. And we were filming the actual distribution of the fish and loaves to the crowd. We filmed some of Jonathan as Jesus preaching to the crowd. We filmed some of the scenes where the disciples are running from the crowd, realizing that they're out of food, and figuring out how we're going to feed so many people. It was an absolute blast. And the problem was it was so hot. In fact, we had a few people who had to be escorted out because of heat exhaustion. They were all okay. We had one person who had a severe issue, but who also got better. But yeah, we really, the team that was, the Chosen team, and I can't name all of them now. I wish I could and just give thanks to all of them right now. But the Chosen team that put on this event was unbelievable. We had dozens and dozens of volunteers who came in and helped. Medical staff, the bus company that we worked with to transport people who had to show up at the football stadium like 10 minutes away to get COVID tested before they came, and then had to be transported over, and then they spent a whole day in the heat. But more than anyone else, it was you who were there who had such great attitudes, and I wish that I could have personally connected with all of you. I unfortunately couldn't, but it was an extraordinary event. And Giovanni, why don't you come on here, because I would say...
How's it going, man?
Hey. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, brother.
So, and if you wore a tank top, it would not look like me, right? Because you have dark Italian skin.
Exactly.
And you don't have the big white blinding biceps that
I don't get suntan lines like that.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But you look good, man.
No, I didn't. You don't need to say that, but I appreciate it. All right. So, but you were there. So I think my first question is, because Giovanni, I probably had you out mingling with the crowd more than anyone else. One of the reasons is because the character of Thaddeus, as you've seen over these first couple seasons, is, along with little James, the most servant-minded. And we had actually, when we first introduced little James and Thaddeus, which is funny, you're the first two disciples we introduced, because our picture of you two was kind of the young students who Jesus was really mentoring, but kind of were brought in as kind of the servants of the group.
Yeah.
Like, and Thaddeus, which we'll talk about in just a moment, tender-hearted, the one that kind of is connecting most with Matthew, because I think you see that Matthew needs help. And so what we thought was, when we were filming, who's going to be the most active in making sure that everyone is fed? Who's going to be the most relational as he's feeding people? And we immediately thought of Thaddeus. And so you mingled the most with the fans. You were out there handing out loaves, some of them edible, some of them they had to pretend to eat.
Exactly.
But what was your experience connecting with the fans? Because unfortunately we didn't allow them to do too many selfies just because there were too many people.
There's a lot, yeah.
But some of them were certainly greeting you and sharing you. What was your experience? Share with them like what your experience was. Just experiencing all these people.
Yeah, it was humbling to say the least. I mean, I think from when we did Sermon on the Mount last year, I mean, this was more than double that.
Yeah,
we had over 12,000 people throughout the week, and just people showing their support in person and love, and just sharing their stories, each so uniquely, on how this has changed their lives for the better, and how it's brought them closer to their faith and wanted to be a better person. That's something I relate to as well, just playing Thaddeus and learning from him. So it was just really great to connect with even kids. That's the big thing too, is you were seeing the younger generation,
like 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds who were like, Thaddeus or Mr. Dallas or whatever, like just completely like obsessed with.
Can we call you that from now on, Mr. Dallas?
I demand it. Actually. It's actually Mr. Dallas Jenkins for you,
Mr. Dallas. Oh, got it.
Yeah,
got it. But yeah, it was humbling, man, and it's hard not to. It was hard not to get emotional just seeing what this means to so many people and showing their love in person. It's other shows you could CGI this, but this is a incredible experience. It made it special for us.
Yeah, you can do things where you take like 100 people, you put them in a group, and then you just kind of literally almost like copy and paste them. You recreate them. They do that for a lot of the big shows and movies. And we thought this is just so much more chosen. Like, it feels just so much like our show if we actually have physical people. The authenticity is something that we're always going for. Even when we don't have the money that the big shows do, we want it to at least be authentic. And
Absolutely.
I think that lended it to it. And you guys were saying that it made your performances more real.
You feel it.
The scene that blew us all away was when we literally assembled, because we were mostly bringing people out in groups of 1,000, because we couldn't just have 4,500 people sitting in the hot sun for 6 hours straight. So we would kind of split them up. Well, then at the end of the day, we'd bring them all out at once, 4,500 people. And we did the scene where Jesus says, all right, I've been giving you spiritual food for the last couple of days, but now it looks like you need actual food. Let's eat. And the crowd cheers, and you guys run into the crowd to start feeding. And we had a camera going out over the whole crowd. I mean, it was jaw-dropping.
Unbelievable.
Like, people had tears in their eyes. Just, it was so amazing. So real quick, a couple questions for you. One from Joshua Wortham. Giovanni, what do you find to be the hardest type of scenes to shoot? What have been the hardest scenes to shoot this season?
Hey, Joshua, how's it going, man? I'd say the hardest ones are the ones where there's so many of us in it, because I mean, not only you have to know your cues, but we're also creating, what do we feel about what each person is saying too. So there's some scenes to where there's literally 12 to 15 of us in there. And we're all just trying our best to be, what's our point of view from what this character's saying, what Simon's saying, what Andrew's saying.
So you don't get stuck just like, because there are some times where you're there for, let's say the scene is 5 minutes, and 4 minutes and 50 seconds you don't actually have anything to say.
Exactly.
How can you still bring something to it and still be Thaddeus as opposed to just someone sitting in the background?
Yeah, and still having your opinions. Yeah. And then also the physicality. I think anything we learned these last 2 weeks is how physically demanding, working in the sun day after day, 12 to 14 hours. but when it's all put together, it looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
so
but you guys that's the thing. You guys have so much patience most of the time. I know that sometimes you hide it.
We try.
Because it's so hot and you're sitting there for so long. And that's actually a scene that I'm going to talk about before the end of this live stream. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a couple of the scenes that we filmed that aren't actually, some of them are rooted in scripture and some of them aren't. And I'm going to talk about those just to give you a taste of what's to come. But one of those scenes we filmed over the course of several days. And that was brutal.
Oh,
it was hot. You were sitting down. We had not just you 12, but like there were groups of other groups of people who were part of the scene as well.
Yeah.
And that was for sure the hardest I felt like we've ever had to go through.
We went from one extreme to the next.
Yeah, for
one
sure.
year. Yeah.
Rebecca says, your monologue in the Christmas special was so powerful, gave me goosebumps. Also love your stone cutting speech in the wedding episode.
Oh, that was
That's
awesome.
the thing. Thaddeus comes in and
Rebecca.
just has little like sprinkles fairy dust in these scenes sometimes.
Every
Always
once in a
has
while.
little bits of gold. So talk about that scene from season 1, episode 5, which is when Jesus does the wedding miracle.
Yeah.
And that miracle we know was his first public miracle. And it was kind of like his coming out party for the fact that he is going to be the Son of God. Or he is the Son of God. And for people like realizing, oh my goodness, he does miracles. And Tyler Thompson wrote this monologue for you where you're describing how the difference between stone cutting and woodworking. And you had this really beautiful monologue. Can you talk about how, as an actor, you prepare something like that? Is it something you stand in a mirror and just rehearse a bunch of times and see how it comes across?
I have chosen not to go in front of a mirror for some reason. You know, that just doesn't work for me. But like personally, like Tyler, Ryan, yourself, like you guys are great at writing these scenes so specifically. And I mean, it just hit me really personally in terms of, you know, you're starting a new journey off, and once you kind of start it, you're just getting that, you're rolling and you're going, and you can't really stop, and life is really never going to be the same. So I tried relating to that personally as much as I possibly could, and then knowing that was Jesus's first public miracle, it meant a lot. And I was really blessed to have that scene with Liz. She's in, like, as you know, she's absolutely
working with
incredible
Liz.
to
Yeah,
work with,
yeah,
man.
she's a great scene
She's
partner.
so giving. So I just felt very lucky and blessed to be part of that, and that's a scene that really just holds dear in my heart, honestly. So
Yeah,
thank
for
you
sure.
guys for putting me in that situation, honestly.
Oh, no, you did beautifully with it. Pam T, just by the way, paid it forward $1,000.
Oh my God! Thank you, Pam. That is awesome.
Yeah, and that means again over 1,000 people get to continue watching it for free, and and that allows us to finance future episodes and seasons. And just want to make sure, again, it's very clear. Pay It Forward is optional payment. So this isn't a donation. We're not a nonprofit. You don't have to do it. But when you do it, it allows us to continue to make the show free for others. So Carissa Gonzalez asks, what's your favorite scene so far? Which I'm going to guess is probably the monologue, right?
That was, but I also like the opening of season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan texted me once we got the scripts. I was not home. I was at the gym, and he was like, "Hey, you have to read the opening." I was like, "Okay." So I rush home, see the opening, and I had no clue we were starting there.
Yeah.
It was, and that was an emotional day.
Yeah.
It's so sacred.
Yeah. You and Jordan crying and thinking years in the future from the Jesus story, and dealing with the death of Big James while also missing Jesus while you're talking about him. But she continues, you do a beautiful job playing Rad Thad.
Thanks, Chris.
And thanks for all you do, and I hope to meet you one day. It's my dream.
Oh my
It's
God! Well, I hope
Carissa's
I get to
dream.
meet you too.
You need bigger dreams, Carissa.
Hey! That is hurtful, man. You see how he treats me?
Cherie Firth says, love your portrayal of Thaddeus. Your beautiful heart shines forth.
Thanks,
And
Cherie. That means a lot, honestly.
That is
Thank you.
absolutely true.
That is the similarity between Thad and Giovanni.
Yeah.
Such a big heart.
Thank you,
Amanda
guys.
is
That means
saying,
a lot. Thanks, Amanda.
Mary F. just paid it forward $1,000. My goodness.
Oh my gosh, thank
you
you.
so much for that. And we're just seeing so many people buying the gifts. And when you do those, when you buy those gifts, that's what allows us to keep doing these live streams. That's what allows us to keep growing our staff and ultimately keep doing more episodes and seasons. So Judy says, is Giovanni as chill as Thaddeus? So what Amanda was saying was, I don't know about chill. I mean, you're a pretty chill guy. But
Pretty chill.
I think it is, again, that servant's heart, that sweetness of spirit. It is just, you cannot hide it on camera. I mean, it comes through as Thaddeus. It's why Amanda was insistent that we cast Giovanni as Thaddeus.
It means a lot,
And
guys. Thank you.
You've been such a beautiful contribution to the show.
Thank you, man.
So,
I love being part of this family, honestly.
oh yeah, we love having you. So, all right, brother. Well, I will let you go.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you, and I love working with you. And We got one more day of filming tomorrow. I'm actually having lunch with you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because you and I are
Looking
connecting.
forward to it.
Yep. And then we'll see you back in a few weeks.
All right, brother.
Yep.
Love you guys.
Yep. See you soon.
See ya.
They all conspired to make the exit awkward. So, yeah. Okay. And hang up. And, yep. Okay, great. Thank you. All right,
you.
so let's. Thank you. All right. So real quick, one thing I wanted to mention, just to talk about the feeding of the 5,000. You know, last year we had what we called the Frozen Chosen. This year, our makeup artist Mandy came up with the phrase "Fried 5." And Fried 5 is if you managed to make it through those 2 days, or if you were only there for 1 day, you were fried, and just like we were. And so yeah, that's
Fried 5, baby.
Fried 5. Amanda was insistent that you are aware of that. So far, the top items that have been the gifts that you have been purchasing so far, the season 2 special edition so far is number 1. That is this really cool, just like filled to the brim with tons of special features that you cannot see anywhere else. Lots of stuff that isn't even on our social media. And at the end of this live stream, I'll show you another kind of highlight reel of what's on that special edition disc set. We've also got the bucket hats. I don't typically wear these because of the fact that my head is a little big and I just don't look very good in them. Just like I didn't look great in that tank top. But I do love the tank top. And normally when I don't have like pistol white arms, they're not contrasting with this beautiful olive that has emerged over the last few weeks from being out in the blistering Texas sun. Let me pull it up. So yeah, this is the chosen tank top, perfect for summer. All right, and then the comic books. All 6 comic books. So the comic book bundle, which is if you buy the entire bundle, all 6 of them, you get 20% off. That's the second best-selling item so far tonight. The third is the bucket hat, because some people really do look good in the bucket hats, and they feel great during the summer. And then the women's tank. That's right just underneath the bucket hat. Anonymous just paid it forward $5,000. That is extraordinary. That's well over 5,000 people who can now watch it for free. Ted L. in Florida, $150 paid it forward. Thank you so much, Ted. I'm going to talk about now actually why that's so important. So here's some season 3 updates for you that I've been promising. So the first thing is, I'm going to be honest, this is kind of I'm not going to call this bad news. I'm going to call this like news that you should be aware of, but you don't have to do anything about it if you don't want, but we just always share things because that's what we do. We are authentic. This summer, and I think a lot of it has to do with the economy, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're in between seasons, but right now, pay it forwards are quite low compared to normal, and gift store purchases have been quite low. And as you know, we do not have a big studio or a big network. We're not an NBC show or a Netflix show where they just have literally hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes just for one show, where they can just write a big, huge check and say, all right, the next 5 seasons are guaranteed. You know what? Some of our actors are sitting in this very room. We want our actors taken care of appropriately. We want our crew taken care of appropriately. And the fact is, we don't have the promise of future seasons, because once we decided to make the show free, the decision as to whether or not the show was going to have income became up to the viewer. So there are some shows that a network or a big streaming platform can say, you know what, regardless of how our money is doing in others, we're going to take a chance. We're going to commit to X amount of episodes. We're going to commit to X amount of money, to spending X amount of money because we believe in this show. And we just don't have that situation. We may in the future. The show is growing so much in popularity and so much in value that there could be a situation down the road where we have the opportunity, where someone does provide whether it's, I don't know who it could be, but like where there could be a situation where we have a large enough money where we can commit to future seasons and future episodes, and everyone can be in a situation financially where they're not having to still look for work because unfortunately we're kind of like an independent show. So that's served us well so far. The show is growing, but we are in a state right now where things have slowed down pretty considerably. And so hopefully over this summer, things pick up a bit. And as we lead into season 3, they pick up enough so that we can know, okay, great. We don't have to keep doing live streams. We know that season 4 is going to happen on schedule, because again, we cannot officially commit to season 4 and set our shooting dates until we know for a fact that we're going to have enough money for season 4. And even though we're well on, pace in terms of fan excitement and interest in the show, and the show is growing internationally, there's still, we don't like to commit to something unless we have a very good idea that we're going to be able to actually pull it off financially. So I just wanted to give you that update. That's one of the reasons why we do some of these live streams, is just to kind of keep things going, keep the relationship with you going, and the growth building as much as possible. Now, that said, let's get to the fun stuff. So, release schedule. Right now, we are in discussions to launch season 3 sometime in probably, because I can't commit to anything just yet, but probably sometime in November, maybe early December. And it is highly likely, I'm just going to give you this teaser, but I'm not going to say it's for sure. It's highly likely that we are going to debut the first 2 episodes as a theatrical release. So I will have more details for you in the future. I'm not promising it. Again, some things may change. But there was so much excitement about the Christmas special last year. We learned so much about it that we are now in very serious discussions about making it so that the first 2 episodes can be enjoyed by people grouped together all over the country and potentially in other countries. Now, of course, because not everyone can watch it in theaters, not everyone can pay for a ticket, we as usual will be having it launched free in the app a short time after the episodes are available in theaters. But I just wanted to give you that little sneak peek at what we're talking about and the release plan that we're hoping for. So again, nothing guaranteed, but I just wanted to give you that tidbit because you are an essential member of the Chosen family, and we always want to give you updates when we have them. So stay tuned for that. And right now, though, just so you know, we are actively editing season 3. So like, I'm about to take a 3-week hiatus, quote unquote, from filming. Yeah, Amanda just went, ha. Because during that hiatus, I'm going to be editing with my editor, John Quinn, and our other editor, Adam. We are going to be editing season 3 because we have to get episodes 1 and 2 finished with enough time to make it by November, because it takes a really long time to edit and compose the score and all that. So that's a big deal. So we're already editing, and we are also writing season 4 right now. So literally, I have a couple of outlines and first drafts of scripts waiting for me to work on and tweak myself, because we are actively, like my co-writers Ryan and Tyler, while I'm on set filming, are beginning the writing process of the next season. So a lot going on, and we do believe that if we continue at this pace, we will be able to start filming season 4 shortly after season 3 is released. So there won't be quite as big of a gap as there was between seasons 2 and 3. All right, so we just had Even R just did, not only, she just did a big gift purchase, all of the comics and the special edition DVD, so that's really cool. Big Chris, so Big Chris is the one who actually does the comics. He draws them and writes them based on the show. His name is Big Chris, and he did an amazing job with these comics, and he commented, "Everyone looks like they're having so much fun on this live stream, feels amazingly authentic. Keep up the great work, y'all." Thank you, Big Chris. Ange Schwarzer asks, how many season 3 episodes have you shot so far? That's a great question. So we shoot all 8 episodes at once, meaning, so like, because the feeding of the 5,000 scene is kind of it is the climax of season 3. And that is in episode 8. That is in the season finale of season 3. And there's also elements of that are in episode 7. So I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. But that whole feeding of the 5,000 thing happens over the course of episodes 7 and 8. And so it brings us to the conclusion of episode 8. So we were filming that just over the last couple weeks. And there's also a couple scenes that require more editing and more special effects than others. And so we want to shoot those early so we have enough time to work on those. And then, of course, there's just things that are all in one location, even though they are spread out over multiple episodes. So right now we have finished most or all, I think we finished all the filming of episode 3. We've finished, I think, all of the filming of episode 1, but we have done little bits of all of the rest of the episodes. So that's kind of how this works. We film it as one big, gigantic movie. Several people are asking, will you still do live streams to release new episodes for free? Of course. So I have promised you, and we will continue this promise, that from now until Jesus comes, from now until... We're back up. All right, sorry about that. All right, so from now until the end of time, I have promised you that The Chosen will always be free, and it will. Now, of course, there may be times where you have to wait, for a couple weeks or whatever until it's available free, like with the Christmas special. But we will always be launching live streams. We will with the episodes so that everyone can watch them together at the same time, free all around the world. So one thing I wanted to share with you about the feeding of the 5,000 is that not only did we film the actual feeding and the people, the disciples going out into the crowd and distributing the loaves and fish, but we also film scenes leading up to it and around it. And in fact, tomorrow we're doing a couple of scenes that take place as the feeding of the 5,000 is dispersing. And so one of the things I wanted to share with you is that we are taking a few different moments from the Gospels and combining them into this feeding. Now, as you know, there are 2 different accounts of feedings of thousands of people in the Gospels. In fact, most scholars believe there were actually 2 of those incidents. One where it says the feeding of the 4,000 plus, one says feeding of the 5,000. And most scholars believe that there were actually 2 separate incidents that were similar to that. We're only filming one, and we are also combining it with the fact that there were times when the disciples went out 2 by 2 and spread the word. And there was also times when Jesus said, we're going to also take the word to the Gentiles, to the non-Jews. Because as you know, there were also moments in the Gospels where the disciples were only preaching to the Jews. And then there were moments when the Gentiles started to get involved. And so where we set the feeding of the 5,000 in season 2 is the Decapolis. Now, the Decapolis was this heavily Gentile area where there was a lot of infighting, a lot of religious, social, ethnic infighting. And so we have created this scenario that where the feeding of the 5,000 takes place in the heart, in the middle of all of that area and infighting. And so we did a lot of historical research, a lot of biblical research to take a couple of different stories and kind of combine them into one so that the feeding of the 5,000 isn't just a response to people being hungry and Jesus preaching a really great sermon. It's a response to the division, the social and political and religious division that was taking place. And we thrust Jesus and the disciples into the middle of this. And Jesus starts to preach a message that applies to both Jews and Gentiles, that starts to combine, is a message that brings to a combined number of people from all disparate ways of life and backgrounds, and is an effort to bring them together and to give them the message that, yes, I am not only here for the Jews, I'm here for you as well. And the answer to your problems is me. And in that sermon, he says, come to me, all you who are heavy, weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And that verse is the theme of season 3, because so much of season 3 is about the pain that comes from following Jesus, that they are experiencing all this division, not only amongst themselves, but they're witnessing it out there in the areas in which they're preaching. And Jesus' answer to that is that famous verse of, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden. And that is the main theme of season 3, and I wanted to share that with you just to give you a taste of how the feeding of the 5,000 is couched in this extraordinary backdrop. And you see people and groups start to experience just this historical fact that Jesus came and then provided this unbelievable message and this unbelievable impact that went out to the entire world and changed the world forever, regardless of whether you're a believer or not, that he's the Son of God. No one can deny that something happened 2,000 years ago that's spread throughout the world. And we believe that one of the launching pads was the areas even outside of the Jewish communities. And so we wanted to capture that in the feeding of the 5,000. So with that, I just wanted to say, I want to do a quick recap here and thank you so much for this live stream, for being here. One of the struggles of doing these things live is that you sometimes have technical glitches, so thanks for your patience through that. We're working very hard to make sure that those kinds of things don't happen, but we can't always promise it. But to recap, at thechosengifts.com, www.thechosengifts.com. We have 4 new items. We have the 6 comics, the first 6 comics that cover most of season 1. These are actually covering the first 4 episodes of season 1. They're all out now. You can get all of them, all 6. If you get them all at once, you get 20% off. We've got the special edition DVD and Blu-ray. This is the biggest, baddest thing we've done. It's got not only all of season 2 on it in super high quality, it's got the Christmas episode. Yes, the special Christmas episode. That's the only place you can get the special Christmas episode is the special edition DVD. It's also got a ton of extra features, including the Bible roundtables, including the season 2 behind the scenes documentary that we did, including director's commentary, roundtable discussions with the cast, just so many things. We even dig into the experience of the writing of the show, just tons and tons of stuff. We've got the women's and men's tank tops. I'm not going to put the tank top on again to protect you from the blinding rays of my whiteness. But this is the men's tank top, which is really cool and comfortable. I do love wearing it, even though I probably shouldn't have worn it on the live stream. And then the women's tank top, Amanda, show it real quick if you don't mind. 2 different types of women's tank tops. Yes, you got one that's a little bit looser, and then you got one that's a little bit more cropped.
The other one is like, yay.
Is it
Yeah,
this one?
yeah, it's yours. Yeah, you can come on. This one. Yeah. So because you're
short,
miniature,
yep.
It doesn't look quite as cropped on you. But for normal-sized human beings, it's a little bit more cropped. And so you've got 2 different options. Make sure you look at those to choose one, because, as I said earlier, finding women's apparel, unless you do 50 different styles, is nearly impossible to find one that everyone likes. But we're doing our best to find one that the most amount of people like. And then we got the bucket hats. Which were a big hit at the Feeding of the 5,000 when we brought these out, and they also keep you super cool during the summer heat. So with that is the bulk of what I wanted to talk about on the live stream. I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes taking your questions, and then I'm going to let you go. We'll sign off with a couple of videos after I'm done. But I'm just going to sit here for a few minutes and take your questions live now. Hopefully we can stay live and that the live stream will continue, because we've had a couple technical glitches. But first of all, I want to thank, let's see, we got Patricia S. just bought some DVDs. And make sure, again, make sure you know the difference between the special edition, that's the white one, that's the souped up one. And if you buy the season 2 special edition, you can get the season 1 for 50% off. So look for that bundle. It's listed as a bundle. So make sure you're getting the season 1 and season 2 bundle, where you get season 2 plus season 1 for 50% off. James B. in Florida just paid it forward $50. Thank you so much. Wayne L. from Texas just paid it forward $300. Gennaro M. just paid it forward $150. Glenn B. thank you for $15 paying it forward. So meaningful. Again, optional payment. Again, we are not a nonprofit. It's not a donation. It's not an investment into a company. It is your optional payment. You do not have to pay. You can watch the show for free if you cannot afford to, or you wish to not pay for it. That is absolutely your choice. That is the reason people do pay it forward, so that you can watch it for free. If you are skeptical of the show and you don't want to contribute to something that you might not like for all 7 seasons, enjoy it. Watch it for free. You don't even have to sign up. You don't have to give an email address or anything. It is available in the Chosen app, which you can find on your phone. You can also go to Roku. You can go to Fire Stick or Apple TV. Look up The Chosen or look up Angel Studios, and you will find it on that Angel Studios app. Again, totally free, and you can watch it on your big screen, free and easy. But thank you for those who are paying it forward, because it does allow us to do future seasons, and lately it's been a little bit rough going when it comes to some of the financing for the show. So Tammy B just bought a teal Chosen shirt, one of my favorites. Benita H just paid it forward, $50. Really appreciate that. So here's some questions for you. Linda Ruth, 47 Linda Ruth asks, for me, any chance we will see you in a cameo? No, just because I can't play one of our, kind of mix in the Galilee region because I'm so white. And I also don't want to play a Roman soldier because I don't want to be distracting. And sometimes my charisma just is so immense that takes the focus away from the main actors. And I just can't do that to my...
Here we go.
To,
I'm doing this every day.
Giovanni says we hear this every day. Yeah, I just don't want the crowd to have to experience it. Ed McKay, is production on schedule? Yes. Now, of course, we wish that we could have filmed season 3 earlier and gotten it done with earlier. But now that we are going, it is on schedule. It is difficult. We have a ton to do. Some of the projects that we're working on are the places where we're going to be filming because of the supply chain. We have a construction crew that's unbelievable. But because of supply chain, because of just the way of the world right now, it's just tough to kind of stay on schedule when it comes to construction and some of the things we're trying to do. But our team is just absolutely burning the midnight oil, working 6 days a week to try to get this done and as fast as possible. So we can never relax, but we are currently on schedule. App user says, will you do another Christmas episode, maybe with Magi? Possible. Don't know if we'll do it just for Christmas or if we'll do it as a flashback in an upcoming episode. You never know. But right now we're focused on season 4, writing of season 4, and there's no Christmas in there. Trisha F., will you film in Utah again? Actually, I am going to Utah in 2 days. As soon as we are done filming tomorrow, we then leave for Utah to scout, and we will be filming there for a couple weeks after hiatus. And yes, we will be filming at Utah as long as they will have us. Some future episodes and scenes will be filmed there. Frog961 asks, I don't think that's your real name. Do the theater release box office funds go to support the season? Yes. I mean, every bit of income that comes into the show goes towards everything. I mean, it goes towards future seasons. It goes towards, continuing to build the business that allows us to do this. And it goes towards, production funds for future seasons for sure. And again, our goal is as much as possible to increase the budgets each year so that we can pay our cast and crew what they deserve and so that we can continue to grow the show as much as possible. And you got to remember that when you pay it forward, right off the top, some of that money goes towards marketing, some of that goes towards the distribution company, some of that goes towards the costs of doing this. And those are immense, immense costs. And there's just a certain chunk that's left over for us to put it right back into production. If we stopped right now and then just said, all right, here's everyone's payments and here's and we just live off the fat of the land, that'd be lovely. But we have more seasons to shoot, so most of the money that comes in immediately goes right back into the future seasons. But yes, theater box office funds do, of course, support future seasons. Vicky asks, any chance of a season 2 poster book? Absolutely. That has been made and will be coming out in the near future. And in fact, this is the season 1 poster book. And if you don't have it yet, it's beautiful. I'm just going to open up randomly to some of these images that you see. And Thomas and Rayma, Joey and come over here, Joey. Come over here. Yes. Let's recreate this picture right here. Look at this. This is you. So Yaz, come over to this side. There we go. Look at them. Aren't they so cute?
Aww.
It's the two of you right there. You can have them in your home for just pennies a day.
Literally.
Yes.
In your home.
Yes. But yeah, this is just thought that was cool. Aww. But the season 1 poster book is on the website. You can go now. And season 2 will be coming out sometime in the near future. Dawn Flash, one of our biggest supporters, boy, this is awkward, isn't it? One of our biggest fans and supporters asks, you worked so hard this week and were so caring to everyone at F5K. What was one of your favorite moments from the week? Let's see. One of my favorite moments was when we were filming the huge scene and the disciples were dispersed and handing out bread and loaves and everyone was cheering and going crazy. That shot was amazing. Favorite moment from the week? You weren't actually in the scene, Yaz, but you were.
I came by.
You came by. Did you have a fun time?
Yeah, talking with everybody.
Talking with everybody.
There are a lot of people to talk to.
Yep, there were a lot of people to talk to. You got to meet a lot of the fans, and that was really cool. Yes, Joey, favorite moment of the week. Come on in, come close to the mic.
Favorite moment of the week was when we were up on stage and saying hi to everybody, and somebody named Jim yelled out that he loves Thomas. And then I said, I love you too, Jim. And then we passed the mic to Paris. And Jim, once again, said, I love you, Matthew.
Oh.
And I was pretty upset about that, Jim. So I let him know. So
okay. Well, the question was favorite moment. But
that was my favorite moment.
That was your most hurtful moment.
Jim, I'm coming for you, man.
All right, good. Giovanni, favorite moment of filming the feeding of the 5,000?
But it's a blur from meeting everybody out there and just hanging out with everybody and that wanted to support. But also I met my second cousin I've never met in my life before, randomly through the crowd. So that was pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
Did they know?
Did they know that I was their second cousin?
That y'all were related?
No, they just started talking and they're like,
yeah, I knew that she would be there, but I've never talked to her.
Oh, you've never met?
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all knew that y'all were, okay, got
Crazy.
it. I understand
Crazy.
now. That's cool.
Great.
Wow.
All right, thanks. Thanks, guys. Kathy asks, what did you say to Jonathan that was so funny he dropped to his knees in the dirt in the video on social media? Thanks, Jeremiah, for that one. So, yeah, there's a video that we posted in Reels on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook where you see Jonathan laughing so hard. I said something to him. He laughed so hard he fell to his knees, and then his head hit the ground, and all the dust from the ground got in his hair. I just basically we were sharing an inside joke about just how Jesus was going to be delivering this total mic drop moment to the Pharisees and to the crowd that was gathered to hear him say something. And it was going to be such an intense moment and such an intense line that one of the Pharisees would poop his pants. And I kind of acted that out. And didn't think I was going to share that publicly, but it just came out just now. And when I said that and kind of illustrated that, that image was just too much for Jonathan to bear. Daryl Rogers asks how much time passes between episodes 1 and 8 in season 3. So that's a really good question, and I'm going to say lots of time. I'm going to say it's months, and one of the reasons is because there is a passage of time that takes place during one of the episodes, a long passage of time. Jonathan Stanley asks, I am 13 years old. What other gospel films or Bible shows have inspired you? Well, of course, seeing Jesus of Nazareth when I was a kid, that miniseries was definitely a big one for me. I wouldn't say at the time I ever thought I would do something similar, and I didn't think I was going to be a filmmaker at the time, but I remember it being very visceral. And I remember the fact that they showed a scene of, I think it was a flashback scene of 2-year-olds being killed, 2 years after Jesus was born, because Herod was having, because he didn't want to have another king come up against him. And I remember I had a little brother at the time who was 2 years old, and I remember crying in my bed, imagining how horrifying that would be. So, not the funniest miniseries I've ever seen, but it was certainly an influence. And then The Passion of the Christ, of course, is an influence. I remember seeing bits of the Bruce Marciano Jesus film where you see him laughing and smiling, which I remember made an impact on me because you didn't normally see that in Jesus projects. But in a lot of ways, it's seeing all the Jesus films that I've seen over the years have inspired the show in the sense that I want to do something different. So I'm trying to make it. The fact that it's a multi-season show and the fact that we're trying to dig even more into the backstories, I think the genre of Jesus projects is something that we use as an example of how we want to be different. Not because they're bad, all of them, but because we want to just bring something new to the table. O'Shea Harmon, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. What are some of your personal favorite Bible verses or stories? My favorite Bible verse is Psalm 34:5. Those who look to him are blameless and their faces shall not be ashamed, is just the notion of looking to God, keeping your eyes and your face turned towards God is the way to be. And my favorite Bible story, one of them is for sure the woman at the well, which is why we ended season 1 with it. Gia asks, how do you choose what stories in the Bible are included in the show? That's a really good question, because some people will ask us, well, why don't you do this story? Why haven't you shown, for example, the baptism of Jesus? Or when are you going to do this story? And sometimes we say, we're not going to do that story, or I haven't done this story because I don't really believe I have a good way into it. Meaning, I feel like whatever stories we pick do need to work for a television show. Now, some people may go, wait a minute, what do you mean? All the Bible stories are great. And they're all important. Of course they are. They're important. The writers of the Gospels included them because they were important. But we're doing something very different. We're not the Bible. We're a TV show. And so the story needs to have some way into it through one of the characters or through a perspective that I think is going to bring something to it that maybe you haven't considered before. And we also want to do scenes that aren't going to be distracting because of their visual effects, to where the spectacle is so much that you're watching, even if we do a good job of it, that you're watching it going, oh, wow, look at those cool special effects or those cool visual effects. That was really cool. And you're not actually into the emotion of the scene. So it needs to work for a show. It needs to work for the character development that we're doing with each of these characters. So we look for stories that we feel like will be impactful to the characters in the show. Melissa Denton asks, what will happen with the set when you are done with The Chosen? Well, the set in Utah has been there for years. The set that we're building now, just so you know, that set is actually owned by a nonprofit. We are using that set. We make use of it, and one of the uses of that set, we will not be the only ones who use it over the course of time. Hopefully other projects will be able to use that, as well as the Salvation Army camp where the set is being built is going to be used as a biblical and historical educational site for students and for underprivileged kids who come to the Salvation Army. They'll be able to get a chance to have an immersive experience with it long term. Lisa Sullivan, if someone held your hand still, would you still be able to talk? Thanks for including that question. No. Maddie Lee, Dallas, how has The Chosen affected your walk with God? I believe that one of the things about the show, about The Chosen, is it shows that Jesus was personal and that he had an intimate relationship with the people that he encountered. Sometimes we see Jesus or we think of Jesus as doing things like the feeding of the 5,000, or we think of him up on a stage, doing a big miracle for the masses or preaching for the masses. And you think of oftentimes Christianity as being a collection of just a billion people around the world. But I do believe that God is personal, and I believe that Jesus had personal relationships with people. And that's why you see in each of the scenes, whenever he does a miracle, like, so for example, we've got Joey in the room here who played Thomas. That scene between Jonathan and Joey was a personal scene. It wasn't just about changing water to wine for a large group of people. It was about something that he was doing in Thomas's life, in Rhema's life. It was something that he was doing in the lives of the people at that wedding. He was doing it as a personal favor for his friends because his mom asked him to. These were not random, and so that's a personal thing that I believe we really try to capture in the show and has impacted me greatly. Martha W. asks, how many hours of sleep do you get? Not many. I wish that I got more. I should get more. I wish I was better at it. I just can't. So I'm working on it. And when we're finished with The Chosen, maybe I'll take a year off so I can nap, and then we'll consider what other projects I can do after that. And believe it or not, I've also got another project that I'm considering doing in between seasons that I'm really passionate about. So a few people are asking, any more devotional books coming out? Amanda, are there more devotional books coming out?
Yes, I actually don't know. I don't know when.
I'm not asking when.
I'm writing them.
Yeah.
Devotional 3. When does that come out?
So the third devotional book is completed. We actually just got some sample copies recently. That will be coming out soon, sometime later this summer. The third Bible study, she just finished writing. So that is going to be coming out sometime late. I think it's early next year. And we've got a kids devotional book that is finished writing that will be coming out later this year. So yeah, our plan is to do things for each season. Alexander Todd, as you research the show, how do you consider the Talmud, Midrash, and the Targums? I'm probably pronouncing Targums wrong, which would indicate that we don't consult the Targums as much, because I've actually never seen that word. Love the show. May God continue to bless you. Yes, we absolutely consider the Talmud and Midrash, and we have a Messianic Jewish rabbi consultant who gives us a lot of not only biblical and cultural context, but context from other sources of truth and history from the Jewish community, because this is a very Jewish story. And that's why you can see when you hear in the Bible roundtables and when you see in some of our episodes us referencing some of the Jewish leaders at that time, not all of that information came from the Gospels. That's why some people who criticize the show, who are like, you should only stick to Scripture, you shouldn't add anything to the Bible. Well, leaving aside the fact that we're not adding anything to the Bible because we're not the Bible is the same regardless of what our show does. but some of the very important things that we know about the context of Scripture, some of the things you hear in sermons, some of the things that you hear when we understand how Jesus dressed, how the disciples dressed, some of the prayers that they gave, which are not in Scripture. How do we know that? Well, because there are so many other sources, especially within Jewish culture, from that time period that we draw from for this show. And that helps inform us when we tell some of these stories about how they would have gotten married, some of the prayers they preach, some of the customs that they do, the ways that they are in the temple and synagogues are all things that we don't see in Scripture. 10 Cute Moose. I'm going to guess that also isn't your real name. Asks, I heard you did an all-nighter filming recently. What is that like? All right. Giovanni and Joey, come back real quick. Have you done an all-nighter yet, Yasmmin?
Several.
Which one? From last season. Which one?
Almost all of them.
I'm trying to think of which scenes we did from season 2 that were night scenes.
It was the campfire one.
Oh, that's right, the campfire one. So real quick, and Colin, do you have the other mic on too? Turn that other microphone on. Okay, that mic's on.
There we go.
So come on in.
Here, come on in, brother.
So for me, I love all-nighters. I'm a night owl. I like shooting at night. It's cooler. I think it looks beautiful, and I really come alive more at night. And so that's one of my favorite times to shoot. But for a lot of people, it's really exhausting. And one of the unfortunate things is that most of the time, a night shoot is at the end of the week. And so you'll do day shoots for like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, the reason is because you can't shoot an all-nighter and then shoot the next day, because our cast and crew have to have, because not only by rule, but also by consideration and common sense, we can't work for 12 hours all through the night and then expect them to come back at 10 o'clock in the morning the next day and shoot another long day. So cast and crew are required to have what's called turnaround, where you have a certain amount of time in between each day of filming. So we have to schedule our night shoots for the end of the week so that we have enough turnaround time before the next week, because usually the next week you start early in the morning. So for you guys, what is it like shooting a night scene when earlier in the week you've been up during the day and sleeping at night? Now you have to adjust your sleep schedule. How do you do with that?
It is exhausting. It's kind of like jet lag sometimes, where your body just has to adjust to a certain type of time zone. But there's also something really freeing in it, because delusion kind of sets in at a certain point, and you don't have time to think about things, and you just react in the moments and get kind of carried away with it. And we're all doing it together, which makes it a lot more fun. So we're joking around and trying to keep each other.
Yeah, I feel like the night shoots are more giddy and fun.
Yeah,
like there's more joking around, partially because each setup takes so long, because you have to create light, because the moonlight's not enough light. So everything is lit really expansively. So we shoot one angle, and then it takes a really long time to turn around and shoot the other angle. So we have more time to kind of screw around.
Totally.
And people start getting slap happy. Paris is always like, he's done at like midnight, and he's like out. So so he just starts, getting a little slap happy. But you guys are all screwing around a lot during those times.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like night shoots?
I do. I mean, you got to get on like we all have to sleep throughout the day to like prepare for them. That's what we tend to do. But I think with like a good group like we have, like you said, we keep each other laughing. We keep each other upbeat during those night shoots.
So sorry to interrupt, but the reason I brought you two out was because we just did one.
Yes.
Friday. Right? Friday night after being in the blazing hot sun 12 hours a day. And then we had to come in on Friday at like 6 o'clock at night. I don't know when you guys came in, but it was like...
I think around that same time.
Yeah. And then we shot through the night. And was that hard because you didn't have any real preparation for it? Or for me, it felt so good because it wasn't hot.
That was where I was at.
Yeah. I would say the same for me too. I mean, and we have this stuff like prepped beforehand as much as we can, you know? So it's just a matter of, hey, we're out here. This is what we're going to be doing. And like we said, we keep ourselves busy and distracted. We were playing Mario Tennis for the breaks in between on the Switch, you know, whenever you guys would be setting up shots and stuff. And we did beat Noah. George and I beat Noah, who claims to be really good at video games, but
you didn't beat him at Smash Brothers.
No, I didn't beat him in Smash. Yeah, he whoops me in Smash.
Yeah.
But.
All right, cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I just asked them because we just did it 2 nights ago, and you weren't there.
Sure.
So, sorry.
Yeah. Sure.
Still love you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Joelle Ross, how long are I'm going to stick around for just a few more questions. So you guys can stick around as long as you want. The actors, if you want, you can leave at any point. I don't want to keep you here, but if you want to stick around for more questions.
If you're only for a couple minutes, we can.
Please do.
It's
just a couple minutes. Joelle Ross asks, how long are the episodes going to be? Do you have a specific time in mind for each one when you write them? We do not. We try to keep them within the range of 45 to 60 minutes usually, but this season they're longer. In fact, each episode is longer by average and added up to, over the course of the season, an additional full episode. So there's like the total time frame of the first 2 seasons of The Chosen. Each season, this season is a full episode longer when it comes to the length. Can you go back up, Jeremiah? Yep. So I'm reading. My one of our key executives here is feeding me some of these questions. But yeah, we have the episodes probably average close to 50 plus minutes this season, which is a little longer than normal. But when we write, we just write. Our philosophy is it's too long if it's too long. And it's too short if it's too short. And because sometimes a longer episode actually feels short. I mean, I remember last year we had a couple of times we had a long episode, and I would see you guys in the comments, and when it was done, going, "Oh my gosh, it was so short." It was actually one of our longest episodes. So it just depends on how it feels, how the story is going. All right, Guardiano Flight 3. Will there be more Old Testament flashbacks? Yes. Occasionally we will do some of that. There's not many this season. I will acknowledge that. Ish Fun asks, right here.
Great name.
Ish Fun asks, any more oneers planned? So the oneer is where we don't do any cuts. So remember that 13 to 14 minute one shot at the beginning of episode 3 of season 2, which was it? You said it was one of your favorite.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, one of your favorite moments. All 3 of you guys were in that, and I remember just having to time when you were off camera and when you were on, and walking through it, and making sure, and the pressure of knowing that you have to get it right. Totally. Because we can't edit around it. So we've done a couple of oneers this season. Not nearly as long as that one. I don't think we'll ever do one as long as that one again. Karen Rapp asks, how's the new puppy doing? Yes, the Jenkins family, we have a new puppy. We've had her for, Amanda's gone now, a few weeks, and she's doing great. Slowly but surely starting to get potty trained, just like Joey. Took some time to get him potty trained on the set, but he's just about getting there.
Sometimes I still do it just to, but claim my territory.
Yeah, for sure. Kevin, I was at the wedding at F5K. What did you think of that? Oh, we had 2 Chosen fans who they surprised. I don't know who surprised who. I'm assuming the husband surprised the wife by getting married at the feeding of the 5,000. They got a pastor in the crowd to come forward and do the ceremony, and they got married at the feeding of the 5,000. I wasn't there. I was busy filming, but that was really exciting.
Probably wasn't too hard to find a pastor there either, huh?
I can't. Yeah, I got to imagine that in a crowd of thousands of passionate Jesus lovers. Yeah. Is there a doctor in the house? They're like, no. Thousands of people, no. Is there a pastor? There's like 30 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we can do this. Claire asks Dallas, what character do you relate to most? I would say, and this is the honest truth. People ask who's my favorite character, and sometimes I'm like, I cannot answer that because they all feel like my babies. I think a little bit of myself and Ryan and Tyler comes out in all of the characters because we really do try to relate these characters to human beings and not just stained glass windows from 2,000 years ago. And I think also you guys will come on set sometimes and say, can I say this line this way because it doesn't, it would feel more human, it would feel more like me. And I think you guys are always bringing something of yourselves to the roles. So I relate a little bit to all of them, and I think you relate to your characters, but I think there's also other characters you relate to as well because we're trying so hard to make them human and relatable. So I don't think there is one character that I relate to more than any others. But I think as you've inhabited the characters, what I've seen is you've become more and more like them and vice versa.
Yeah, I would agree.
And we start writing knowing Yaz's contribution to Rhema. All right, what's her voice now that we know? And it becomes more symbiotic than ever. Cast. What other projects are you working on? So I know, off the top of my head, Yasmmin is in NCIS Hawaii and you are going back to film some of that soon, right? And she was in season 1 last year. We saw a cool commercial with Giovanni that we posted on Instagram, and I actually don't know what you're up to.
Just some voiceover stuff, but due to NDAs,
non-disclosure agreements you can't share. So we actually have a lot of actors who are like voiceover specialists.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
That's fun.
Yeah. OBP asks, are you going to do Zacchaeus? Zacchaeus is the story of he's known as like the really, really short guy who was a tax collector. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we're doing that story because we've already kind of covered the whole tax collector bit through Matthew. So if we did, we would cast Yaz. No, I'm kidding. even though it's a dude. But I don't think we're doing Zacchaeus. I don't think we're planning on that. So here's we'll take this as the final question of the live stream, and then I'll do one final wrap up. Do you ad lib or stick to the script? So of the three of you, you for sure
I love to
do the most ad libbing.
Yeah.
And what I find a lot of times happens is because I rarely give notes before the first take. So usually I've talked to the actors about the show a little bit, about their characters, but now, like before season 3, we didn't do much of that because you guys already know your characters. So sometimes, because I rarely do any notes before the scene, because I kind of want to see what you've brought to it, how you interpreted it. And if it's different from how I interpreted it, sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I was wrong and you were right. And then other times I might make an adjustment. But sometimes I find you guys will say something different or add a word or add a phrase, and you don't actually hear back from me because it means like, oh, that's cool. I liked it. I want it to feel natural. So that's the point of ad-libbing, is to make it feel as natural and spontaneous as possible. And then sometimes you'll try something, you especially more than most anyone else, will try something and you're willing to go crazy. Like you're willing to like try anything.
Yeah.
And sometimes even you'll be like, that doesn't work. Yeah. But we try it. We play. We see that's why I use the phrase "here we play" before, throughout the day, because I really want it to feel like we're discovering things, we're playing, we're trying to figure out what's real and what's true. And sometimes that doesn't mean the words that I already wrote with my writers. Sometimes it means those were too constrictive and we want to find something better.
And the worst that can happen is we say no and we don't like it and we move on and we do something else.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right. We're good again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think we'll actually leave.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much for joining me and our cast for this live stream. It really meant a lot. And again, sorry about those couple glitches that we had during the live stream. Those just happen sometimes. We got a great team that's working so hard to overcome all that and make sure that the fact that they work so hard is why it doesn't happen more often. A lot of technology going on, trying to hit 3 different locations: Facebook, YouTube, the Chosen app. But it means so much to me that you're here. And we've got a lot more to do. We'll be back in July. I'm going to be doing another live stream in July. We'll have some new gift items for you then, some more updates on season 3. But in the meantime, you mean so much to me. You mean so much to Amanda and the entire Chosen team. And remember, it is not your job to feed the 5,000. It is only to provide the loaves and fish. And never did we see that more than this last week. I love you, and I will see you soon.